Let's see what happens. Yes, everyone, welcome back to After the Snap. I'm your host, Tasha Pierce. Man, some stuff went down yesterday um, after or during the time that I was doing my stream yesterday. Some stuff went down, and I kind of I kind of neglected to talk about it because I was talking about other stuff. Batgirl, just out of nowhere, Batgirl gets canceled. What the heck? How? Why? What? Huh? What? Say what? Huh? Yeah, so I'm like in a state of shock because the movie was done. But there's also other news coming out of DC and Warner Brothers for that whole studio, and there's also a couple of things that we need to tie up concerning Andor, concerning She-Hulk. There's a couple of little pieces of news there as well. Um, but we're gonna start with, you guys know I've been talking about, because yes, I'm gonna start with me. I've been talking about the fact that I'm about to become a Gigi, and I was just giving everybody the news that it was going to be next week that she was due. Well, it looks like things are going to happen a little bit sooner. I'm going to be a Gigi within probably the next 48 hours. So yay! I'm pretty sure these kids are not as excited about this early thing, this early arrival of little Ashton. But I'm geeked. I'm super excited, and I'm ready to see what my little grandson, how he's gonna change our lives. So keep us in your thoughts, and I guess if you're a praying person, keep us in your prayers. And let's pray for a healthy baby that is coming really, really, really soon here. Now, y'all got to excuse me. I know this is the same two ponytails I had yesterday. I'm sorry. I got the news about the grandson a little close to the time of going on today, so I didn't do anything. And I guess you guys, we're not here for beauty contests anyway. We are here specifically to talk this entertainment news. These cats are now completely active. My cats are losing their minds. Okay, so let's talk about this ish, shall we? We're gonna start with Joker. No, we're not. We won't start there. We're gonna start with She-Hulk. Now, yesterday we talked about She-Hulk, and we gave the date of it dropping on Disney Plus as August 17th. Well, there's been a small tweak to that start date. It's going to be, instead of August 17th, it's going to be August 18th. And while we're talking about She-Hulk, there's another thing that I forgot or I failed to mention, and that is that She-Hulk is also going to have a little bitty Easter egg, and that Easter egg is for none other than Johnny Blaze, the Ghost Rider. So here we have uh, our first kind of peek at maybe possibly Ghost Rider being on the horizon, because we know that he exists in this universe. When we saw that little bitty Easter egg in the She-Hulk trailer, so we're gonna be looking for John Blaze. My cats are gonna knock this partition over, and I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm just letting y'all know. Um, so yeah, we know that Johnny Blaze is coming. Now we kind of had an idea that he was coming because we are seeing uh, obvious setup for the Midnight Suns, and we know that he is an integral part of that group. So Johnny Blaze is coming. Whoop whoop. Now, it has been whispered. As a matter of fact, there wasn't even no whispering. Um, what is his name? Gosh, Ryan Gosling. Gosh, I was going to call him Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Gosling has made it implicit that he would like to be Johnny Blaze in the MCU. And Kevin Feige said, "Oh, we'd be happy to have him." So that does not mean that they are in talks or that he is going to be cast. It's just meaning that that's one name that has been floated already for Johnny Blaze, and I'm super excited to see how that pans out. It is now thundering. So yeah, I'm super excited to see how that pans out. Um, Hopefully we got something for Ryan Gosling to do in the MCU, even if it's not Johnny Blaze. Even though I think he would do a fantastic job as a Ghost Rider, and I would be looking forward to seeing how the MCU would bring it to life because that Nicolas Cage version, while I enjoyed the Nicolas Cage iteration of the way he uh, performed that character, that it was a little bit, it was a little campy, the Ghost Rider movie, and so these cats are losing it, y'all. Stop it, stop it. It's I'm looking forward to seeing what the heck the MCU is going to do with this character and tying that in with uh, the Midnight Suns with the Blade and Ghost Rider and gosh, I can't remember everybody. I always do this with this group of people, but anywho, She Hulk is coming out August 18th. It will have a Ghost Rider uh, Easter egg. Also, Andor. Now, what we knew about Andor so far, what we know about it, is that it is everything that leads up to Rogue One. So it is the formation of this rebellion against the Empire, this evil empire that is holding everybody down, right? So we are seeing, I suppose, a origin story of the rebellion, and this origin story is to last 2 seasons. Now, I thought that Andor was going to be a one and done, one season kind of thing. It is turning out that Andor is going to be 2 seasons. They have already announced that there will only be 2 seasons. So, you know how sometimes we as fans forget that it has been announced from the beginning that there's only going to be a finite number of series or seasons, and we start begging for them to renew the series. Well, this one is 2 seasons. That's what they had planned from the beginning. Those 2 seasons lead straight into Rogue One. Please let's not act brand new when when it's done after 2 seasons. It's the same kind of thing that we see with Star Trek Picard. It's always been 3 seasons. Always been meant to be 3 seasons, but people are like, well, it's not going to last another season. Of course, it's not going to last another season because it's only meant for 3 damn seasons. Hello. So let's not act brand new when Andor doesn't come back for a third season because we know it's only slated for 2 seasons. And that is one more season than I even thought. I didn't think it was going to be 2 seasons. I'm glad it is because then that means we're going to expound quite a bit on the excuse me we're going to expound quite a bit on the political intrigue and the start of the rebellion. Hey there, Clarence. And you said Andor looks great so far. It's the one Star Wars TV show that really looks like movie budget. It does. As a matter of fact, as I was watching, I think I was watching New Rock Stars. I think it was Eric Voss. He was talking about this is one of the first ones of these Star Wars TV shows that is filmed on location. They're not using that wall technology that they have been. This is actually filmed on in different locations, and I think in the trailer you can kind of see it. You can see the difference between it being on that wall. Even though that the wall stuff is great, it's beautiful, but it's a whole different feel when they're going on location. And I don't know what kind of fighter or whatever that thing is that was going over the people as they were hiking on that mountaintop. If you remember in the trailer, um, that's giving you some kind of scale that we don't get with the wall. We're getting a different kind of. We are understanding the size and how intimidating the Empire is. I think I am really and truly going to enjoy Andor. Hopefully, I enjoy it as much as I did Rogue One because that was like one of my favorite. It ain't one of. It is my absolute favorite Star Wars movie. So let me see what else did I have for you guys. Um, well, First Lady got canceled. I don't know if you guys remember. I was big up and I was talking real good things about First Lady. And then we saw that Viola Davis, who I love as an actress, but her interpretation of Michelle Obama was almost like a caricature. And I think that threw a lot of people off of First Lady. I'm going to talk about, I mean, I'm going to pick up Clarence. Says, I like the balance of real world versus AR wall. If it wasn't for the AR wall, they would never spend the budget on some of these stories, right? So yeah, we're getting, like you said, a good balance. I really do enjoy what they have done, what they're able to do with that AR wall, but there is just something about being on location. There's something about it, and you get to see a whole different scale of how things are. And I'm still looking forward to what they do with the wall because that technology has opened up a lot of doors for, as you said, projects that would have never gotten off the ground. They can do it with a smaller budget than they would have if they had to go on location for all of these different backdrops and sceneries. So yeah, um, now I was talking about that First Lady. You know, it's canceled. It was on Showtime. It's no more, no more. Angus wrote me last night that season 3 of Harley Quinn has begun. Now I don't have HBO Max anymore, so I'm not particularly watching it. But Harley Quinn season 3 has begun, and it started with 3 episodes. If I remembered what Angus said to me correctly. So thank you, Angus, for giving us that update on Harley Quinn. Now, as you can see behind me on my great new, it ain't new, but it's new to y'all because it was always off screen before, that Batgirl is canceled, right? But then we have a list of movies that we are worried about and whether or not they can be safe. Now that we know that the WB is not afraid of putting movies that are completely finished on the chopping block, right? Batgirl was an $80 million movie. It's already shot, already done shooting. Oh, it was in post production. Canceled. They're not putting it out on HBO Max. They're not putting it out in theaters. And a lot of people had questions as to why. We're going to get into why in just a minute. But the other questions that people have is okay, if Batgirl, which is already complete, all it's doing is post production, $80 million have been put into this film already. If that one can get canceled, then what about Blue Beetle and Black Canary, Static Shock, Booster Gold, the Joker 2? We got some news on the Joker 2 and the Batman 2. Now, so people were asking these questions on social media, and I'm going to be 100% clear. I never thought the Joker 2 and the Batman 2 were in danger. Made too much money. They made too much money, though, are big theatrical tentpole event movies. The Joker 2, Foley Do, is coming out. As a matter of fact, after all of this noise that they made about Batgirl being canceled, they came out and said, hey, the Joker 2 is getting a date. We've got a date. It's coming out October 4th of 2024. Clara says, no way we see those other ones other than Joker 2 and Batman 2. Right. Those two have already been proven. So we could take Joker 2 and Batman 2 off of the list of shows or movies that we are concerned about. These other ones, like Clarence just said, they're probably gone. We probably won't see any of those movies. Now, will we be getting any new announcements? Who knows? Right now, what Warner Brothers Discovery is trying to do is get a whole lot of fluff off the books. And one of the things that Zaslav, let me look and see what his first name is. I hate calling people by their last name without at least saying the first name. Um, we're gonna go to Deadline. That is where I picked up this article, and it says, "Why did Warner Brothers scrap Batgirl and Scoob Holiday Hunt?" Because, FYI, the Scooby Doo holiday movie is off. It's not no longer. It's not coming. No. So if you were looking forward to that, forget it. Um, Clarence said, very disappointed about Batgirl. Can't believe they can't find a way to release it. What they're trying to do is avoid releasing it because they are afraid it's going to lose money in the theaters. And I don't know if it's because they have had a test group and it didn't test well, but they feel like it's going to lose money in the theaters. And if they put it out on HBO Max, they'll have to do that profit sharing thing where you have to pay them for it being on streaming. And they said, well, instead of doing all of that when we're already in the red, we will just we'll just cancel the movie. We'll eat that $80 million as a tax write off and and just scrap the movie. Now that's like a lot of people put in a lot of work on that flipping movie. Let me see what Clarence says. It could have something to do with the flash delay and shifting budgets. That's another, and the shifting budgets part is what Warner Brothers is going with officially. That they are officially shifting the budget. Okay, it says the cancellation by Warner Brothers of two made for HBO Max streaming movies came as a shock to the town. There are several threads here, but the movie amounts to an emphatic rejection of past Warner Media CEO Jason Killar's strategy to make original $70 million live action and animated films directly for the streaming site. So, the makers of the live action Batgirl and animated Scoob learned that those films were being stopped in their tracks. Now, the timing was awkward for Batgirl because those co-directors, Adil Al-Arbi and Bilal Fallah, they were in Morocco for Al-Arbi's wedding, which, hey, that's a heck of a wedding gift, right? They was coming back to finish work on the film, to finish the post on the film. That film was going to have Leslie Grace, J.K. Simmons, Brendan Fraser, Michael Keaton. Um, that's they're scrapping everything that has anything to do with that. Let me see. Clarence said all they had to do is have Batgirl appear in Shazam or Black Adam, and I guarantee there will be an audience. I agree, but we can spend money on Titans and Stargirl, and that's another thing. A lot of titles on HBO Max, a lot of their series that were made for HBO Max are being canceled as well. They've already announced another, say, 20 projects that is not coming back to HBO Max. I don't know what each one or all of them are. I don't know that all of them have been announced, but some of them, and it could include Titans that might be gone because Titans it was so directionless. After maybe the second season, it just had no direction whatsoever. It's just like whatever, we're just gonna put something out, and yeah, there was problems. Now there are a lot of people who are upset about the Batgirl thing because she was a Latina Batgirl. Excuse me. But they're saying, oh, it had nothing to do with her being Latina. We got Latina friends. No, they didn't say that. They're saying it has nothing to do with her being Latina. They were told that it came down to a purchase accounting maneuver. That maneuver is available to Warner Brothers Discovery because the company has changed hands and they also changed strategy. So this is an opportunity that expires in mid-August. So in the middle of this month, uh, they will lose the opportunity to write these big projects off as on their tax, because these are things that the new regime did not want to follow through on, that was already in progress from the old regime. And they're saying that they're trying to get $3 billion of debt off of its books. So one of the ways they're doing it is by axing these projects, because if, like I said, if you put it on a streaming service, there's like a profit sharing that you have to give to each one of these films, and they don't want to share their profits. Another thing that I was saying, and I, if you can see how confused this board looks, this is what my mind looks like. This is what it looks like. Um, uh, oh, Keaton erased. Are they trying to erase Michael Keaton? Notice we've been hearing that Ben Affleck has been filming scenes for Aquaman 2. Are they saying, moving forward, we're not going to have Michael Keaton as a huge part of our Batman universe? As the old regime wanted, this new regime is like, no thanks. So they are erasing Michael Keaton. That's a Tasha kind of theory, but I think that's part of it. Anything, because Michael Keaton was the Batman in Batgirl, and now suddenly they're not doing this project anymore. Also, and I keep forgetting his name, Zaslav. I don't know his first name. I hate doing that. But anywho, Zaslav. That's the dude that came from Discovery and now is over the Warner Brothers Discovery arm of things. He said that he wants to focus more on the big budget event type movies. Does that mean, like I said earlier, that we'll hear new announcements? Will we hear that we're getting another Superman movie? Which we desperately, I feel like you desperately need a Superman movie. Now, I don't think that it should be at the expense of the smaller characters, but it's been a number of years since we've seen a Superman film. You got a wonderful Superman in Henry Cavill, so let's utilize him. Now we've got the Batman. We know that we're getting a sequel to that with Robert Pattinson, but are we scrapping? Are we abandoning the DCEU? Is this becoming just the Batman universe? I don't know, but is it even an extended universe if we don't introduce any of the extended characters? Are we just getting the same big three that we always get? With the exception of Aquaman and this Flash movie, which Aquaman and Flash, you notice they haven't been discussing either one of them very much. Are we going to continue to ignore those movies because of the controversy that comes along with talking about? Because if you talk about the movies, you got to talk about Ezra, right? And if we talk about the movies, we have to talk about Amber Heard. And those are things that people are trying to keep on the hush. So are we going to see any kind of movement as far as marketing of those two movies? And what does this mean for an extended universe in DC if we're not extending the universe? Because a lot of people said, well, look at what Marvel did. And I know that the DC fans who don't like Marvel movies hate to hear the comparison. However, you had the MCU, who did not have any of the big names in their catalog that they could use. So they started with Iron Man. The Hulk was probably the biggest name that they had that they could use, and they were sharing that character with Universal. So we have Iron Man, the Hulk, Thor, Captain America, which is another, okay, Captain America was kind of a big one too, and then the rest of the Avengers, right? And then from there, you start branching off in even lesser known characters and introducing them in the movies with our known characters. But they had to build and scrap to make that universe work. It's not something that you can just make in one or two movies. You have to put in the work. At the same time, we started. You silly cats! I'm sick of it. Stop! Stop it! Stop fighting! Sorry. Um, where was I? Because the cats confused me. Oh, we saw the smaller, they started off with the ones that we already mentioned, and then they went into lesser known names like the Guardians of the Galaxy. Doctor Strange, for in some ways, is a lesser known name. Captain Marvel. We going into those movie Ant Man and the Wasp. We're going into those characters. This is where DC needs to go. Now they don't need to go there and be there immediately. Like I said, it's gonna take time. But to they shouldn't scrap all of this. They should not scrap uh, Blue Beetle, Black Canary, Static Shock, Booster Gold. They shouldn't scrap those projects. And there were other projects. Zatanna was one. Doctor Fate was another. Doctor Fate will kind of put you in the mind of Doctor Strange. And the thing is, Marvel is showing you how to do it. They've got DC has already put out Aquaman, who is the king of Atlantis, and he is ruling this underground or underwater kingdom. And then we're seeing how Marvel is saying, okay, we're going to do Namor, but we're going to change some elements of his backstory and make him still fit in the MCU and be a part of like this inclusion when we have Tenoch Huerta, who is also a Hispanic or Mexican actor who is getting a big role in a tentpole movie. This is what we could have done with Leslie Grace. And if they get rid of Blue Beetle, people are really going to be screaming foul because that is also a Latinx character. Okay, Dr. Fate will be in Black Adam. Yeah, that's Pierce Brosnan. Pierce Brosnan's role, right. So Dr. Fate will be in Black Adam. And speaking of Black Adam, The Rock has been coming out and saying, hey, we're going to have a Black Adam universe. Now, instead of surrounding the universe around heroes, is the plan for Warner Brothers Discovery to put their movies around an anti-hero. Will we see a time when the Black Adam and Superman go head to head? We've seen it in cartoons, and I think we've seen it in comics. I don't know for sure, but I think we've seen it in comics. I know we've seen it in animation. So, is that something that we would get a live action of? If that is, announce that you're working on this, because that will put a lot of faith back in what's going on right now. Your your fan base is feeling a bit alienated. They don't have anything to be excited about. You want to give them something to be excited about. For instance, like MCU. We know we're getting D23 in the second week of September. And remember, during Comic Con, which we didn't talk about on my channel because I was being a lazy bumpkin, but during that their Comic Con presentations, the MCU, they announced a lot of the projects that we have coming up, but they left some projects blank. What we're finding out is that D23, second week of September, they're filling in all those blanks. We're going to know what each one of those projects are. Some of them we have guesses, some of them we have no clue. And that is giving us something to be excited about. So D23, we know we're getting. We still haven't heard anything about whether or not we're going to get a DC fandom this year. And, it didn't work as well last year as it worked the first year with DC fandom. But at least now they know what their fan base is looking for out of DC fandom. What type of announcements we want to see out of DC fandom. We don't want to hear about Flash's boots for half an hour. We want to talk about projects, things to look forward to, where we're going as an extended universe. if there is still going to be an extended universe. What directors, like right now with this Batgirl project, you have the directors, Bilal Falah and Adil El Arbi. Those are the guys who did Ms. Marvel over on Disney Plus. They also did Bad Boys for Life. You know, those guys really put their foot in those projects. You guys had the director, you had the face in Leslie Grace, you had hopefully a story. I don't know what the story was going to be, but hopefully you had a story. Why not put that movie on HBO Max and give us an opportunity to see what you had? Because the directors you had were great, fantastic. Yeah, it's like it's so many questions as to what is being expected of the DCEU. And his name is David Zaslav. Gosh, I've been calling that man everything else, but David Zaslav. He said we're not focusing heavily on the streaming side of things. The money is in the theatrical releases. I get it. I got it. Especially now that we are. I don't know if we can say we're on the other side of COVID, but people are getting more comfortable going back out into the public. People are going to the movies. People are going to restaurants. People are going shopping a bit more. So now that we're getting accustomed to getting back out, yeah, that's where the money is. The money is definitely going to be in the theatrical release, and then you just have an abbreviated release and bring it to HBO Max. After say 60 days. I think they cut Batman kind of short. Batman made $700 million, and it could have been a $1 billion film if they would have left it in theaters for another 2 weeks. If you ask me, or another not 2 weeks, another 3 weeks, another 3 weeks, and it would have been $1 billion film. I can almost guarantee. And they cut it a little short, a lot short. So yeah, and like right now, I'm seeing that other movies that waited, like Top Gun Maverick, they waited for a theatrical release. They put their movie out in theaters. Top Gun Maverick is over $1 billion right now. It's the first Tom Cruise movie to go over a bill, and that's because they had the patience to wait, even though the fan base was clamoring for it sooner. They had the patience to wait, and it paid off in spades. Um, so what else I got on my list back here? Oh, doo. So yeah, are we getting a Superman announcement? I hope we are. I really do. Uh, so we talked about the tax write-offs, um, putting the film. I covered it. My question is, at this point, do you think that we have a DC extended universe? So if you think that we can call it that still, uh, let me know in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this on the rebroadcast. And yeah, in while we're talking about the rebroadcast, if you're watching this on the rebroadcast and you have not yet done so, can you please uh, subscribe to my channel? Become a part of the family. We want you in here. Big hugs, kisses, and all that good stuff. I'm looking to have 100 um, new subscribers by the end of August. And right now, I am still at 51%, which means I got 51 new subscribers. I need another 49, and it looks like things are at a standstill. I hope that we can pick that up, and by the end of August, I will have that extra 100. Um, Also, you can see I don't have any latest tippers, but if you were a latest tipper, it would be up here on the screen as well. And that little tip glass down there is for if you feel like this deserves a tip. You can also join this. Oh, Angus says, and Angus, by the way, BT Dubs, Angus is the first member. He has joined to become a member of the After the Snap movies and TV membership over here on YouTube. And so you see he's in green. with the star next to him. He says, I don't think the WB knows what to do with itself. And that is an issue too. I don't think they know what to do yet either. Um, they really need a plan, and it's not something that you could. It's not like a fly by the seat of your pants kind of thing. You need to have what you would, I guess, consider a little think tank of what is a plausible way to build a universe. And I'm not one of those people who kind of romanticizes the MCU from the beginning, because one of the things I know for sure is from the beginning, the MCU was not the MCU. The MCU was a collection of movies, and then they got a direction, and you could see when they got a direction. It was like roundabouts the post credit scene of Iron Man 2. That's when they said, you know what, we might be able to connect this movie with some of the other movies, and thus it started building up on that, right? Um, but for us to say, oh, they had this 10-year plan from the beginning, I don't think they did. They didn't even know what they were going to do with Thanos, because Thanos at one point was like, "Fine, I'll do it myself," and he put a gauntlet on with no stones in it. What was he talking about? Like, what was he doing himself? Where did he get this gauntlet from if he hadn't yet got it from Eitri the dwarf? So you see, even Marvel had inconsistencies in the beginning because they had no clue where they were going, and then they started building on what they had did before. DC can come in from the beginning with a plan. They don't have to. They don't have to come up with this plan on the fly. They can come in with the beginning, and it could be is as successful or more successful than the MCU if it's done right and if it's done well. But they just, as Angus said, they don't know what to do with themselves. They've got the characters. They got a catalog that's ridiculous. They almost, whatever we've got in the MCU, DC has it as well. So why are you guys not using these characters? Why are you sleeping on them? It's just, yeah. I can't call it. So I'm gonna repeat because Angus wasn't here earlier. I don't think when I said it. Yeah, my grandbaby will be here within the next 48 hours. um, yeah, Pook. She went to the doctor this morning, just a regular weekly checkup now that she's towards the end of the pregnancy, and they put her in the hospital. So, within these next, say, 48 hours, we will have a baby here, and I'm excited, and I hope you guys are ready to meet him because he is going to be the co-host and what did I call him? The off-screen producer of After the Snap. That's going to be Ashton. Ashton. What did I have? Anything else? So we talked about quite a bit here. Now, do you guys have anything you want to add to what we've already talked about? Because yeah, dang, that was quick. I didn't mean for it to go that fast. Yeah, so soon. It was supposed to be next week. So I guess things have been speeded along. Yes, they are at the hospital now, and I'm just sitting here waiting. I'm twiddling my thumbs, waiting. If I had a cigar, I'd be smoking that thing like the old school men in the waiting room. So yeah, we'll have a baby soon, and yeah, he'll be here. You guys will get to meet him. Uh, Other than that, let me see what you got here. Oh, that's the same one. I'm at I'm watching myself over here, and then I'm seeing y'all chat over here, and I know now how long it takes for for you to see it after before I see it. I see it over here way sooner than y'all see it on the. Get back, kitty. You get back. These cats is losing their minds. They must know that something is about to happen around here. They're not going to be the center of my world anymore. So yeah, anywho. Yeah. So, like I said, I don't know if how many people know that She-Hulk is going to be coming out one day later than what we talked about yesterday. So they moved that date to August 18th. Um, Andor is going to be 2 seasons. I'm looking forward to Andor. I'm sorry, Batgirl went from HBO Max to a theatrical release. I think they said back to HBO Max. Now it's canceled. And like Angus said, that's an indication that we don't have a clue what we're what we're doing with these characters. Um, I do I can understand the moves that are being made by David Zaslav because he was handed this stuff. He didn't. These were not decisions that he made, and he's not behind those decisions. So while he has an out to uh, to at least be able to write these things off as something that was scrapped because of the regime change. He had until the middle of August to do so. He's doing it now, so I guess that makes sense to me. He's looking at the bottom line, but then I'm looking at how much work was put in. I know they get paid for showing up and doing their job. Hence the $80 million that this movie has already cost them. But I know they would like to that for people to see their work. In fact, let me go back because I saw an article where the directors of Batgirl, uh, and I always forget Bilal Falah and Adil El Arbi, they um they want their movie to be seen. Of course they do. They want their movie to be seen, and they think that it is imperative that an audience gets an opportunity to come up with their own idea of whether or not this movie was worth it. So it is saying, let me share it. I don't know if I'm going to share it correctly. The Batgirl filmmakers on Warner Brothers Discovery discarding their movie. They say it's critical that our work be shown to audiences. They worked hard on it and they would like for it to be seen. Again, like I said, these are the same people that gave us Bad Boys for Life. These are also the same guys that gave us Miss Marvel. We know that they can direct, right? So the day after David Zaslav completely shelved the HBO Max DC movie Batgirl, which is in post production, the picture's directors, Adil El Arbi and Bilal Falah, have responded with a statement. We are saddened and shocked by the news. We still can't believe it. As directors, it is critical that our work be shown to audience, and while the film was far from finished, we wish that fans all over the world would have had the opportunity to see and embrace the final film themselves, said the duo in an Instagram post, which you can read below, which I've already read below. um, so it was a big upset for them. Um, they also said, our amazing cast and crew did a tremendous job and worked so hard to bring Batgirl to life. We are forever grateful to have been part of that team. It was a dream to work with such fantastic actors like Michael Keaton, J.K. Simmons, Brendan Fraser, Jacob Scipio, Corey Johnson, Rebecca Front, and especially the great Leslie Grace, who portrayed Batgirl with so much passion, dedication, and humanity. And they signed off on their post saying Batgirl for life. Um, so yeah, Warner Brothers Discovery are taking advantage of a purchase accounting maneuver available to the conglomerate because the company changed hands, and they had to use this opportunity by mid-August, and it allows Warner Brothers Discovery to not have to carry the losses on its books at a time while they're still trying to find a way to cut $3 billion in cost. And this particular film costed around 70 million. I've also seen reports of up to 90 million. It's interesting that the scrapping of Batgirl gets announced before Warner Brother Discovery's big quarterly earnings call tomorrow. Um, so yeah, they're gone. So we've already seen, and as Clarence had pointed out, I've got these movies on the board: Blue Beetle, Black Canary, Static Shock, Booster Gold, The Joker 2, The Batman 2. And as Clarence pointed out, the first four movies that I just mentioned, they are probably never going to see the light of day. The only movies that are safe right now are the Joker 2 and the Batman 2, with the Joker 2 already been given a release date of August 4th, 2024. Um, Angus says someone high up at WB must have been scared of a box office bomb continuing to make WB a mockery. And that could also be a big part of the problem. There are some people who said that there was a test group that didn't like the Batgirl. Then there is other reports, even Deadline is reporting, that people did like it. They just didn't like the fact that it was raw footage. They didn't get to see the finished CGI, but they enjoyed it up to that. Now, I'm going to finish reading this because I don't want to put words in Deadline's mouth. uh, Other reasons why Warner's tossed Batgirl stem from the film potentially upsetting the DC multiverse continuum, which is being set up in The Flash, due out in theaters on July 23rd, 2023. Batgirl was planned to be dropped on the service before Flash. We heard the first round of testing for Batgirl wasn't that bad. However, we hear from both internal WB sources and non WB sources who were part of that test group that Flash, despite all the Ezra Miller tabloid headlines, is really amazing. I really hope that it is. Um, Maintaining and restoring the gloss of the DC brand for Zaslav is a priority as he's on the look for a new czar to lead the comics division across film, TV, and all ancillaries. So it's looking like David Zaslav, is looking for his Kevin Feige. And he wants somebody to be the man with the plan for DC comics, film, TV, and everything else. Um, Let me see. Angus says, "Give me Static Shock." I was looking forward to Static Shock. I can't lie. And that they were also talking about that one Superman project with Michael B. Jordan. I was curious as to what that was going to be like. Um, Angus said one audience was Klansmen. So they had a whole audience of of Klansmen. You're crazy. And Clarence said, yet the Ezra Miller and Amber Heard issue has not been addressed. And again, even when we saw their or heard about, because I didn't see it, we heard about their platform at Comic Con. They did not mention Aquaman or the Flash. They glossed. If they did say those two names, they glossed over it. They didn't go into detail. They did not release any trailers. Isn't that odd? Isn't that strange? Wouldn't that be movies that you would want to hype up? But because Ezra Miller and Amber Heard, their names are not particularly synonymous with box office success, they are burying it as if your audience is stupid. We know that they have been sullied, that their names are a bit tarnished. So let's talk about it. Let's say Ezra Miller has been having uh, um, like mental health crisis. Say that, and say that we are hoping for the best for them. Say Amber Heard is still fighting to keep her name or to clear her name and to see that the justice is served in her suit against Johnny Depp. Say that. You don't have to be co-signing and saying that they're right or wrong. Just say that, and let's just keep on moving. While and again, I can understand not putting a lot of marketing into it, but you had a captive audience at Comic Con. Those are people who were there to see what you had to put out. You didn't have to spend too much money on marketing. As a matter of fact, they paid to come to you to see your marketing. So I don't get it. I don't get how they doing things over there. And I'm really trying not to be that jerk. Uh huh. So yeah, I don't know. Got anything else, guys? You guys always come up with uh, such good comments. Now, yesterday we did that poll about whether or not we think Shuri has to show her work. Like, we got to see her training to believe that she has been trained as the heir to the Wakandan throne. I digress. We did that little poll, and it ended with the same demographics. Like, it was like 10% that said they didn't care, and 40% said, 40% said, yeah, we need to see it, and another 40% said, no, I don't. I don't think we need to see it. It's unnecessary. So really, it was a tie. 40, 40, and 20. It's a tie. And yeah, it's basically just like what everybody else is thinking. It's that same kind of thought process that we are not, let me see, that we are not having to, we want to see her work. It's like it's a split in the fandom. Okay, Clarence said, we don't. Natalie Portman got jacked, and I don't think it really mattered all that much. She did look great, though. Natalie Portman or Letitia Wright. Because if you notice, even she did. Now, she's a slim chick anyway. Now, Letitia Wright, very, very slight young girl. Um, yeah, me too, Clarence. But yeah, I'm going to come back to that comment. We see that she's put on a little muscle. Letitia Wright, if you saw when she was giving her daps to Riri Williams, who looked fantastic, and I love the fact that we see her putting together her Ironheart suit. But I digress. Um, she's picked up a little muscle, Letitia Wright, and Clarence has reiterated what I've been saying. Shuri is a nerd. She's gonna put her own spin on the Black Panther suit, and again, we didn't know the entire functionality of the Black Panther suit. We only knew what they gave us. We don't know some of the stuff that suit could do. We only knew what they told us, and we also know that taking the heart-shaped herb, it gives you super strength, right? It gives you super agility, super speed. So if she could find or resynthesize, as Angus said, the heart-shaped herb, put a spin on her Black Panther suit, and use her tech to make that suit even, it fit her even more, then she's gonna be fine. Um, yeah, he said Riri is so tiny she made Shuri look super tall. Yeah, but you know what? I was really, I don't know. I went to Tony Stark making that suit with a box of scraps. And then we see Riri Williams doing the same thing, hammering her suit out. I thought that was so fantastic. I cannot wait to see what they do with Ironheart, and it's being filmed in the Shy. Ah, a little taste of home. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the Ironheart thing. I'm looking forward to them filling in these blanks at D23 on what else is coming um, for for Marvel, the MCU, over these next 2 years leading up to Secret Wars. Boy, like I said, Marvel just understood the assignment as it pertained to Comic Con. You come, you make some big announcements, you leave people wanting just a little bit more because you got your own thing coming, and you got everybody talking because that's all everybody was talking about was the Marvel panel to include their animation panel. Even the animation looked great. Yeah, Clarence says disappointed there will be no Daniel Kaluuya in this one. Yeah, that filming of that movie, Nope, got in the way. He had already committed to Nope, and then can't be in it. He can't be in it, and that breaks my heart too because he was my first choice to become the new Black Panther, and then secondly we moved into Shuri, And yesterday we talked about this at length. Um, we landed on, I believe that the next Black Panther is going to be Okoye, and I'm hinging that on Okoye herself, her abilities, her loyalty to Wakanda, and the fact that she's getting her own series on Disney Plus. So that worked for me. Um, Angus says Tony built on his father's work, and Howard had access to vibranium. The Iron Man suits are inspired by the same source as the Wakandan tech. Yes. And Clarence said, "Nah, it was okay." Uh, I'm trying to think. What was okay? Nope. I'm 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 think I'm losing it. I don't know what I meant. But yeah. Yeah, I really and truly. Oh, Clarence, I missed that comment. That's why it didn't make sense to me. You said nope, both the movie name and his review. I'm telling you, my sister didn't like it too much either, and my nephew said, "Oh, there was best thing since sliced bread." So, it's like depending on who you ask, what they got out of it. There were so many people who felt the same that wasn't for them. So yeah, but I can't wait to see it. I'm gonna have to eventually see it. I guess my attention is going to be a little diverted for the next week or two, but I'm going to try to see it. I don't know. I don't know how or when. I haven't even seen the Thor movie yet. My son snuck off and seen that movie without me. What kind of child? What did I raise? What kind of? Ooh, Quinn. Oh, um, okay, Clara said it was way too slow, but there's a good movie in there. And that is what my sister said. She said it started off too slow. And by the time it started to pick up, she had already kind of checked out. So yeah, my sister said the exact same kind of complaint. So what else? I guess I'm gonna watch. Now, Clara said Thor was pretty great. Good. Because, I've been hearing mixed reports on Thor as well. In fact, I don't know how much of it is people just being jerks because one of the protagonists, was a female Thor. You know how people get all in their feelings when a female shows up in a movie that they thought was supposed to be dominated by men, right? So we know how that happens. But this movie was one of the lowest rated MCU movies, not lower than what was the name? Not lower than Eternals, but one of the lower rated MCU movies. I haven't seen it yet. I'm looking forward to seeing it, but let me see what that score was on Rotten Tomatoes. Um, Whatever it was, I'm almost certain that it wasn't fair. I think part of it was because of the sexism in some of the, and not the audience. I'm talking about the the what do you call it? The critics that are Rotten Tomato certified. They I think those some of those critics are sexist. So we see 65% on the tomato meter for for Thor: Love and Thunder, and then 78% was the audience score. So the audience wasn't giving it the bad treatment. It was the, let me see, trying to share that with you. It wasn't, yeah, it was the doggone critics, and I'm thinking, y'all suck. You guys suck. So yeah, let me see. Yeah, Clarence said, I think we'll see an Eternal sequel announced at D23 because it was so underrated. Now, I'm wondering, like, because everything now is pointing towards us getting to Secret Wars. And that is one team against the other team, and it's going to be our heroes going to this battle world and fighting with one another. And um, I don't know if Kang is going to be at the center of it or if Doctor Doom is going to be at the center of it, but there are mixed mixed feelings on who was going to be at the center of it. So how would the Eternals play into that? Is my question. Like we've already got them. I don't, and I'm starting to feel like they were like the one piece of this puzzle that didn't quite fit. How would they play into us getting to Secret Wars? I don't know. I don't know. I might have to look for somebody else's opinion on if the Eternals show up in that in the MCU version of that story, because I'm really looking forward to seeing which story the MCU decides that they're going to take and pick up for the big screen. Is it going to be the Secret Wars from 1984, or is it going to be the Secret Wars from, I think it was like 2015? I did not read. Now I don't even remember. I know I read the Secret Wars back in 1984, but I don't remember everything about it. Now the Secret Wars of 2015, I didn't read, but I did watch. And there's this guy, and I don't know how many of us know about him. Gosh, what is that man's name? I think his name is Robert Jefferson. Robert Jefferson, and I believe the name of his show is Comics Explained. Does that on YouTube, and what he does is take an entire run of the comic books and just explains it in like almost like an abbreviated version or a Cliff Notes version of what happened in those comic books. So I listened to him talk about what happened in the 2015 uh, Secret Secret Wars. It was quite a bit different, but the 2015 version was one that had Doctor Doom playing God on this planet. So we gonna see how that thing plays out. I'm sick of my cats. I hear them. They getting into something in this doggone kitchen, and yeah. So yeah, if y'all let me know if there's anything else you guys think, or you want to add anything to this to the battle world kind of conversation we had, the conversation about Secret Wars, because I'm a little bit blank. I got some gaps in my knowledge about those, except for the 2015 one. I got the Cliff Notes. I did cheat. I did not read the comic. I got the Cliff Notes from Comics Explained. That's like going to a college lecture. That's like going to a college lecture on comic books. He breaks it down so well, and he shows panels and he explains what happened, and he almost takes you through it chronologically, even if the story in the comic book bounces around a bit. He's going to give you the chronological kind of rundown of that. He does it not for just for that. He's done it for so many comic books. So Clarence said he hasn't read them either. Now, yeah, so I just cheat sometimes, and well, the story, I can get the story out of him. Comics Explained. I highly recommend his YouTube channel. He does a fantastic job of breaking stuff down. So other than that, I don't have much else. Um, we found out that we probably ain't getting half of these DC movies. And there are other movies that got canceled, like Scoob. There was another movie that was a TV show, a series that was based Latino based, and they got canceled too. A Gordita Chronicles or something like that. And that's why people started it's racist. But it's just it's bottom line is money, because there were some Seth Rogen projects. There were a couple Melissa McCarthy project that got canceled. So he just was trying to save some money, and without having to pay these people to stream their movies. That's it. That's all. You're making a mess. Yeah, you. Come here. Come here. Come see what I want. Come here. Okay, you jerk. Oh, cats are worse than people. And anywho, I don't have anything. I'm trying to, I'm going to call back to the hospital and see what's going on with the kids and see how close we are to a baby. And then my son's girlfriend, she went to the hospital today, uh, and she didn't make her bed up, and she feeling some kind of way. So I'm gonna make her bed because she thought she was coming right back and ends up in the hospital. So yeah, she went to the doctor and ended up in the hospital. So her big concern is that she didn't make her bed. So anywho, I'm going to call it 100, and then maybe I'll be back tomorrow. Maybe I won't. We gonna see. I don't wanna make a promise. uh, if we get a baby, I'm coming back tomorrow. If there's a baby, I'm coming back tomorrow. But if not, if we find something, some news drops that I just have to talk about, I'll be back. But you'll see me soon. With all that being said, I've got nothing else. Look in the description box if you want to join my Patreon, become a member, if you subscribe, you want to do any of this stuff, any of that. If you want to see who my latest subscriber or my latest member is, look in the description box. Thank you, Angus. See you next time. See you, Clarence. I appreciate you being here, sir, and I will catch up with